what our choices have been. Installation kicks off, and as you see here, it goes through. You'll see a little camera magic here because this actually does take quite a while. Copies all the files and does some prepping. So it's a relatively straightforward process. Just answer the questions. You've already provided the source at this stage, so we'll move on from here. The next thing we're going to do here is create a simple post-installation script. You can do this in any language that you're comfortable with, VB script, Kickstart, what have you. Batch files are perfectly suitable for this task, as usually you'll just be running one command after another, which is something that batch files are very well suited to do. So let's just go ahead and create a quick one here. I'm using the admin script editor to create this simple batch file. It's going to install Microsoft Java Virtual Machine, then Windows Media Player, using standard command line switches that you'd get from the package knowledge base here at AppDeploy. And then I'm going to run the shutdown command, 10-second timeout, reboot when it's done, with the message build complete. Very simple. Now the next thing we're going to do here is customize the folder structure for the RIS image on the network with the OEM folder structure. Now there's a lot of options available here. Microsoft does document them quite well, but I'll cover a couple of key things. You may have even used this too for including additional drivers in your RIS image, and if you have, you're already familiar with this. $1 directory equates to the system root. $, as a folder name equates to the Windows directory on the target system, and then you could also say D or E if those local drives are available, and then under each of these a subfolder would be a subfolder of that location. So this will make a little more sense when I show you here, so let's go through it. So watch out for the documentation, because I've seen this documented wrong in some places. The OEM folder actually goes right here alongside the i386 folder, not inside of it. I've seen it documented the other way, but this is how it worked for me, so be aware of that fact. Under the OEM folder, we can create those various folders that I told you about. $1 will be the system root. So under here, I'm just dragging in my folder that contains my post-installation script. So this folder will actually appear on the target system. I have my batch file and then the source files in the subdirectories. So that's the structure. By including those files and some of the SIF answer file changes that we'll have to employ along with it, these files will be in the Windows distribution. Next thing we're going to do here is get our hands on Setup Manager, which is a tool that allows you to create or edit answer files for sysprep, remote installation services, and unattended install text files. It's included in a cabinet file on the Windows Server CD, both for Windows 2000 and Windows 2003. And rather than just leave it at that, I'm going to walk you through how to get your hands on it real quick. On the Windows 2000 CD, we'll drill down into a subfolder Support, and then in there, Tools, and there's Deploy.cab. You can either click into it natively or use WinZip or whatever tool you have for extracting files from a cab file, which is just a compressed file, like a zip. And then from there, you'll choose where to extract it. You can keep it someplace more permanent if you want. I'm just going to throw it into temp here. And now I'll have to go digging down into temp. And there's Setup Manager. Double click and you're off and running. Now using Setup Manager, you can create a new CIF file or edit an existing CIF file. One of the things the tool does is it tags the CIF file with a comment at the top, and that's how it knows if it created that answer file to begin with. It's any formatted file, and this way it just throws up a blanket response saying, hey, I didn't edit or create this before, so we might not catch everything. This is due to the fact that there's a lot of things you can do with a CIF file or a sysprep answer file or an unattended.txt file that isn't actually covered by Setup Manager. Setup Manager does a lot of it, but it doesn't do everything, and you'll see knowledge base articles and other tips, including those here, that allow you to customize it further than Setup Manager allows. So let's run through it. As you're used to seeing, we start out with a welcome. You choose what you want to actually edit here. I'm going to say I want to modify an existing answer file. And I'm going to go out and choose the default CIF file that was actually provided along with the installation. You could create a new one just as easily. This is just what I've chosen to do here. So it's not a text file, it's a SIF file. So then you can see it. And when we say next, there's the warning I mentioned where it realizes it hasn't edited this file before or created it. So this is a RIS answer file. And now you can say what level of automation you want. We want fully automated, of course. License agreement acceptance. You can specify your admin password. And you can also indicate that you want it to automatically log on with that admin account as many times as you like after the installation is complete. You can choose your number of colors, resolution, refresh frequency, network settings. A lot of this is going to be very familiar to you through regular setup. Time zone, nice to be able to set it to the same as the server, so if you're in a large environment, you don't have to worry about having different answer files. There's a lot of options here. You can pick additional languages. You can individually specify proxy information. You can choose what file you want installed to, Windows typically what you want. You can add additional printers. You can say what commands you want to run, which we will be running our post-installation script, but we'll edit that directly with a couple of other entries we're going to play with once we get this CIF file generated. So this here is actually what you see in DOS when you're at that menu choosing what you want. There's the description, and then the help string here is the description that appears on the bottom of the screen when you select each item. And then here we're going to save over the one I already had. Click Finish, and we have ourselves a CIF file that we can let it run like that, or very likely you're going to want to customize it further. Now, one of the last things we're going to do here is customize that SIF